Did PRASA pay 80 million rand to the ANC? Has PRASA been asked to stop investigating irregular tenders? And how is the public spect involving PRASA affecting its operations? And did PRASA pay 42 million rand for toilet seats for new locomotives? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. The Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa-PRASA held a media briefing earlier today. It focused on governance issues, including the report on the Audit Outcome, the annual report, as well as the group's turnaround strategy. PRASA initiated a forensic investigation into contracts last year following outgoing Public Protector Thuli Madonsela's report on PRASA called Derailed. The report revealed that the agency had improperly extended tenders. This in contravention of its supply chain management policy, the Public Finance Management Act, and the Constitution. We are live, and if you can call us and air your views, the numbers to dial is 089-110-4210. And my guest, Collins Lutswalo, he's the acting CEO at the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa-PRASA, and he's joining us from our Tshwane studios. Dr. Lutswalo, let me welcome you to the show, and thank you very much for making time after your press briefing. Perhaps just give us a recap of what the press briefing entailed.
Good afternoon, Mpho, and good afternoon to the viewers of Question Time. The briefing today was mainly to give an indication of where we are as PRASA. Firstly, to also additional to that, we wanted to give a sense of where the Auditor General has put us in terms of the audit opinion. Equally, what we wanted to do is to ascertain to South Africans that PRASA is on course and that we are busy with the turnaround that is currently ensuing in PRASA. So there's a lot of work that is done in PRASA, and we wanted everyone to know what happens in PRASA as the management of PRASA. But
Collins, is it all systems go when we're reading reports daily? Twitter is flooded with messages from the previous CEO, the chairman of the board, there's the minister, and then you come and host this press briefing where you're creating this picture that all is well.
Mpho, I have never said all is well. What I've said is there is work ensuing in PRASA to ensure that we stabilize the organization. You would remember that I was appointed on the 1st of July 2016 to come and assist the board of PRASA to stabilize the entity, because there was a realization that at that point you couldn't have brought the CEO at a time when the organization is not stable. The point was that I must come, stabilize this entity, focus on the core business of PRASA, which is moving our people in a dignified way, using the backbone of public transport, which is rail.
Now, did PRASA pay the ANC 80 million rand?
PRASA has not paid the ANC 80 million rands. I have said today that we can go through our financials, we can go through our accounts. There is no money that left PRASA that went to the ANC bank account.
But the statement is being attributed to the chairman of your board.
The statement is a statement that is contained in an affidavit where we are seeking to set aside a contract that we have with a company called Swifambo. And that is the media's interpretation of what is there. What the issue is someone got paid, and apparently from what the statement says is that in the affidavit it stated that then the money was paid to a political party called the ANC.
So, Who do we believe here? Do we believe the chairman of the board or do we believe you?
I have not said anything that is different from what the chairperson of the board has said. I have said there is no money that has left the bank account of PRASA and gone to the ANC. But Mpho, you would understand that South Africa is an organization, it's a country which has got political organizations. For as far as I know, there is no political organization that can claim to be running a business of some sort. And therefore, they've got costs. And those costs, my understanding is that political party funding mainly is through donations. And if people are going to donate to any political party, we can't ask them when we pay them from PRASA for a service they've provided. You must remember that when we paid Sifambo, we were paying for locomotives, and we have paid for locomotives. What we seek to set aside is that contract. And going forward, it therefore means that what Sifambo does with its own money is its own doing. Okay? They will then use the money accordingly, but what we paid for has been the locomotives that you would know about.
Okay. Now, let's just get clarity on this Sifambo contract. There's talk, and I'll bring back the chairperson of the board and the minister here. What we're hearing is that the PRASA was investigating irregular tenders. Well, we suppose that Sifambo is also included. And then it is said that the minister then issued an instruction that stopped the investigation. Is that correct? Were you instructed to stop any investigation that has got to do with irregular expenditures?
Mpho, I think the matter has been ventilated in the public, but it's unfair to ask me a question to venture into a letter that a minister writes to the board as a shareholder. I'm not going to go into that. Safe to say, the minister has issued a statement, and in the statement, she has dealt with all those matters, and I think the chairperson of the board has also addressed some of those issues. So I don't think it's fair that you can ask me about discussions that are held between the board and the shareholder, because ordinarily that would happen. They meet, they talk, they write each other letters. The fact that someone leaked a letter is unfortunate, but it's not something that we must preoccupy ourselves as PRASA.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the chairperson of the board then in this case. You have allegations that have been put on record that the chairperson of the board, who is non-executive, is driving around in almost R1 million worth vehicle sedan, which was bought by PRASA. And we're asking ourselves here now as to, does the chairperson have to have this vehicle at the expense of PRASA as non-executive?
There are policies in PRASA, and clearly there is a policy. The car you are talking about, the chair uses, equally is used by other board members. The interesting phenomenon is why people will then focus on the use of the chair of this particular vehicle. It has been bought, as you said, as I told you, I have arrived on the 1st of July, but my understanding is that the car was bought sometime 2 years ago. And the board has taken a decision that that will be used by board members, including the chairperson.
Okay.
For purposes of executing the work of PRASA.
Okay. Now, did you, and by you I mean PRASA, buy or spend 42 million rand on toilets?
That is contained in an affidavit, and I think it's for the people to read what is in the affidavit. You must appreciate the fact that the matter is also sub judice. This is stated very clearly. I don't remember us buying anything, or I've not seen anything that suggests that we did go ahead and pay 42 million for those toilets. My understanding is that what had happened in the regard. When I read the affidavit, it tells me that there was a request for that 42 million to buy toilets to fit in a train or locomotive.
We're talking about, what, 70 toilets here? Is it true?
Mpho, they were not bought.
So
and I think it's important that people must go and read this affidavit, because this matter is sub judice, Mpho.
Okay.
It's unfair that I must answer about an affidavit that is in court, is going to sit in front of the judge. Why can't we wait as South Africans for the outcome?
Well, because your matters are always on Twitter. So we have to talk about this at some point.
Who puts them on Twitter, Mpho?
Well, your former CEO is very much active on Twitter about matters of PRASA.
He is a former CEO. I'm here now, Mpho. Maybe you must look at my Twitter account, because I do not know why he would go and do that. But the fact remains is that Lucky Montana has left PRASA. And he has made it very clear that he has left PRASA and he has got a future ahead of him. And my issue is that he must focus on that future and allow us to continue with the work in PRASA, part of which he has done. Part of the things that we are correcting that are not necessarily good, and there are good things that Montana has done, and we congratulate him for that. Equally, there are things that were not done properly, and we must then deal with those issues as we move forward. But the issue is that PRASA must now move forward.
I want us to take a quick break. When we return, let us look at how you intend to move South Africans safely and in comfort as PRASA, because indeed you move millions of passengers per day. The numbers to dial is 089-110-4210. Dougie, stay on the line. We'll take your call soon after the break.
You see this, but you feel this. You see this, but this is what you feel. You don't see this, but it feels something like this. And this is what you drive. The Audi A4 110 kilowatt Sport from only 5,999 per month, and we'll cover almost 3/4 of the deposit. We'll pay for the dream so you can drive the reality.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is Collins Lutswalo. He's the acting CEO at PRASA. Dougie, you're on the line. Welcome.
Good evening. How are you, Mpho?
I'm well. Thanks for the call, Dougie.
That's good. Mpho, I want to challenge this guy.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, he can also hear you.
Oh, okay. Now it's better.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead,
It's better
Dougie.
now. I am. Okay, listen, what I want to do, I want to challenge this guy, because he said that the ANC is a political party and it's allowed donations. Is it allowed donations from the taxpayers? Must the taxpayers give the donations to keep the ANC in power?
No, but that's not what he said, eh?
No, that's what he implied. He implied that 80,000 million rand or whatever, that he's the guy Molefe said in his affidavit. He implied now on this TV that ANC is allowed to have a donation because it's a political party.
Okay, let me allow him to...
Understand what I'm asking you?
Okay.
Because that's what he implied now.
Okay.
So he implied that 80,000, even if it wasn't paid or if it was paid, they are entitled to it because it's a donation from PRASA to ANC.
No, not from PRASA. Okay, let me not speak on behalf of PRASA. He is the acting CEO. Collins, perhaps just respond to that quickly.
Yeah, it's very important that when we raise issues, people listen to exactly what we are saying and not distort. I have said there is no money that left the PRASA bank account and went to the ANC bank account. Confirmed by the Auditor General, confirmed by us as people that prepare financials for the Auditor General to audit. I have said, in South Africa, I do not know of any political party that owns a business. Issues around how political parties are funded are issues in the public discourse of whether that should be disclosed or not. And who donates to them, it's a matter of that political party and that person. PRASA has never donated to the ANC. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, now, let's talk about the fact that you are saying today that you are worried that performance targets you only met 47% of your targets over the past financial year, and we grant you, I mean, you've just arrived now in July. How are you going to turn around this deficit?
Couple of issues. We just need to bring back a performance culture in PRASA. Focus is what at issue here, Mpho. Our trains are late. Our trains are at times dirty. Communication with our commuters can be better. And of course, there is a lot of things, maintenance, backlogs, and the reliability of our rolling stock. That must be the focus of PRASA going forward. Issues around financial turnaround and ensuring that PRASA pays for goods at a reasonable amount that is market related. Those are issues that we are bringing and we are bringing back. And there are men and women at PRASA, Mpho, contrary to popular belief, qualified, working very hard to ensure that the turnaround strategy of PRASA is bedded down and that we start implementing some of these things. I have also mentioned today that we have got a lot of controls that we have already implemented that are starting to bear fruit.
Okay, let's take Francois. Francois, you are in the Eastern Cape. Welcome.
Thank you, Paul, for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Thank you for taking my call, Paul, and good evening to you.
Yes, good evening.
And your guest there.
Yes.
Paul, it seems to me nowadays, nobody is coming forward and be honest. I can clearly see that your guest there or columnist there over there, he is a little bit in denial. First of what I would like to know, the fact that, the ANC was mentioned actually in a whatever newspaper or wherever, can he actually come out straightforward and say to the public, no? He refuted that, allegation, and that PRASA is well on track and they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. It seems to me, yes, a cover-up. And this calls for a public scrutiny. And I'm so grateful for your previous caller, who is actually, putting things also into the right perspective and asking relevant questions. And I'm also longing to hear from your regular, and that is Eunice. These two callers of yours are always on point. And thank you for taking my call, Paul.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Francois. Well, it would appear the perception continues there, Collins.
The perception. You see, I am not in denial of anything. Today, I have articulated very clearly that there are challenges at PRASA. And those challenges are not insurmountable. What I have asked is that we must be given chance to fix matters that have gone wrong in PRASA. There's no question about the fact that there are things that went wrong in PRASA. However, we must never get into a space where we distort what is at issue. There There is no one that has ever alleged that PRASA has paid the ANC any money. And I've said I'm referring this matter to the South Africans to what is out there, which is an affidavit that has been signed by Mr. Molefe. And people focus on that, and they lack to focus on what is going on in the operations of PRASA that I am overseeing on a day-to-day basis. And I'm saying those are the things that this management is mostly interested in, and what the commuter in South Africa that uses our services is interested in.
Why should I, as a commuter, have faith in the service that you're providing when you have disappointed me a couple of times?
But the issue is that we have rolling stock that is on average about 40 years old. Strategically, we had not invested in our rolling stock, we had not invested in our payway, we had not invested in any infrastructure in rail for a very long time. Consequently, we are then having an unreliable service that we are having. And we have said there is money that has been spent in this regard, 172 million that is modernizing stations. It's busy. We have bought trains that are coming from a company called Givela, which are going to be produced in South Africa. We are investing in signaling equipment that have been invested for a long time ago. And we are saying we are bringing those changes and we are modernizing the South African passenger or commuter rail service. And we understand that we are having problems currently. But we are saying, look at us going forward. You will see the changes. And I know that some of the commuters have already started to see the changes. They are saying that to us. They are seeing the changes. Of course, things are not in the way that they should be, and we are busy correcting those issues.
Collins Oswald, let me thank you very much for your time, and we wish you all the best in getting things on course there at PRASA, hoping that we'll have time to talk perhaps in the next 6 months to see what's the progress that have been made there.
Thank you very much.
That was Collins Letwalo, the acting CEO at PRASA there. But Itumeleng, did you have a comment or a question? Okay, Itumeleng is also gone. I'm sorry about that. But that was question time for today. A big thank you to our guest and to you for watching the show. From me and the crew, have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.
Now this is Trends, of course, your one-stop serving of all that's juicy and trending in the world of entertainment and showbiz. My name, of course, is Refill Wemwilo.
I'm Dr. Sello Mutaung, and this is Our Talk.
A very good morning and welcome to Media Monitor. I'm your host, Alicia Jolly.
My name is Dumile Matez.
My name is Mpho Tsedu. What time is it? It's question time.
For your daily dose of current affairs, tune in to the SABC News Channel.
For Sphile, giving up was no option even in times of need.
If it wasn't for the opportunity that was given to me by the taxi owner, late Mr. Sibego, maybe I wouldn't be where I am.
The taxi industry is also occupied by people with a vision.
There are quite a few taxi drivers with at least matric. And they had a next door neighbor who owned taxis and they asked him for a job.
He now owns a law firm and he believes that challenges are meant to be conquered.
Once you step on top of them, you are able to be on another level and they remain under your feet.
He says hard work granted him his dream of becoming a lawyer of note.
I don't really believe in miracles. People work.
Join Puleng Molibati every Friday at 17:30. We recently caught up with an artifact collector and also a photographer who have toured the African continent extensively, most recently Zanzibar, and each time they explore the beautiful continent, they bring back with them a piece of the places they visit.
I started 30 years ago in this game. I came down from Zimbabwe. At that time it was very hard to get a job, funny enough. So we started collecting artifacts in the Zambezi Valley and selling them on the Nickel Highway. I don't know if you remember the time when there were all those traders on the Nickel Highway. But I've had a long journey with tribal art and managed to travel all over Africa and all over the world, collecting what I call found objects, things that appeal to me, and bringing them back to South Africa. And slowly but surely, we've built Mpho Tsedu into a sort of business now that's 30 years old. It's done its time in the saddle.
Mpho Tsedu is an extension of a journey traveled, a place where everything brought is original, handcrafted, and created with skills long forgotten. Mark Valentine has been an artifact collector for over 30 years and is the proud owner of Mpho Tsedu.
It's a dream of mine and a journey. I've been lucky enough to visit Lalibela in Ethiopia and Aksum, the home of the Ark of the Covenant, and all these amazing old places. And when I was in Zanzibar, looking past the tourists and the gin and tonics and the vodkas, there were very powerful imageries out there of old dhows, beautiful Maasai people, and you could almost say the Maasai were the face of Africa in the 1850s. They were the people best known to the world. And then Stone Town with its thick chalky walls. And for me, I thought that the combination of all of these three elements, Maasai have been photographed forever. Stone Town's been photographed, I say no more. And dhows, there's no horizon in East Africa without a dhow sail on it. But putting the whole three together was a new angle.
Africa is beautiful, culture deep, colorful, and unique. Valentine talks of his travels around the continent and his idea behind the story of an African city, Zanzibar. Photography plays a big role in exploration and discovery, and this exhibition titled The Asana Santa details just that. It is a black and white display.